Good afternoon, and welcome to Living for Tomorrow, where we will be looking at the increase in environmental activism and letting you know about the current condition the planet is in. We'll be looking at some of the current protests across the world and seeing how images worldwide of how the changing climate is affecting our wildlife. I'm joined today by Flora Davies, a student who has recently taken measures to ensure she's being less harmful to the planet and having a more sustainable way of life. We may even have time for a short game at the end of the show too. In recent years, there has been a massive increase in environmental awareness, with many people drawing attention to the issues our planet is facing. The Green Party was formed in 2002 but was slow to gain momentum. It wasn't until 2014 when a rapid membership increase was seen, and from 2002 to 2016, the party has gained over 40,000 members according to the Electoral Commission. It was at this time that we also saw the motor industry shift towards electric cars, with the popularity and supposed affordability of Tesla's shining fleet. David Attenborough captured our attention on screen with his incredibly popular series Planet Earth and the Blue Planet, even announcing his latest show in person at Glastonbury this summer. All of these elements have increased awareness to the public, culminating in the formation of the protest group Extinction Rebellion, which has been taking over streets and causing public disruption this year, with the intention of changing government policy and making a greater change to help our planet's future. We're now going to take a look at some of the images people have been seeing across the world, showcasing the extent of damage to the planet and who the victims of this change are. So we've got a slideshow of images which people have sent in that we can see widespread damage to animals and habitats across the world. Some harrowing images there, and you can really see the true state of damage this planet has come to. There are animals being caught in plastic, drowning in oil, and being unfit for a changing climate. Countries are disappearing underwater and creatures are losing their habitats. In order for this to change, humanity has a huge task to progress in reducing emissions, waste, and cleaning up our world. Everyone can make small changes in their life in order to help towards the environment through the way we eat, travel, and just doing some recycling. Today I'm joined by Flora Davies, a student who has been recently making changes to her lifestyle to contribute towards a cleaner and more sustainable future. Flora, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So let's talk about some of the things that we saw on screen there. Obviously we've seen some extreme situations on that. Do you think that many people are aware of what's going on?
I think, obviously, in recent years, it's become far more of a spoken about thing. It's not nearly, David Attenborough has, as you said, has made it such a wide spoken subject. And I think, obviously, the Green Party becoming a more prominent party. Obviously, should be more, but I think it's gradually on the rise and it's going in the right direction for sure.
Yeah. Do you think the David Attenborough, these programmes on the BBC have helped to increase awareness a lot?
I think absolutely, and I think he's not scared to bring across the really horrible sides of what we're doing to the natural world, and I think it's really good. I mean, obviously it's really sad, but at the same time it's really good for us to see what we're doing to our world.
Yeah.
And I think him going to Glastonbury and doing that speech to the younger generations it's really good, because they will obviously pick it up much better, because it's doing it at a festival it makes it look, I hate to say it, but cooler, and therefore they're going to think, oh well, we'll try and do what's best, and they obviously brought so much more stuff to that festival as well, and ideas, and made it a bigger subject throughout the festival, which was good.
Yeah. Do you think festivals have quite an important part to make sure that they're being better for the environment?
Oh, of course. I think, especially this year, so I went to a much smaller festival, and it was a lot more kind of like sorting your rubbish constantly into different things, which is a small step but really good. There's a company now that I know someone who works for them who they take down all the tents after that have been left over.
Oh yeah.
Which is really good, and they give them away to homeless charities, which is really, really clever and really good reusing and everything else. And obviously metal cans of water instead of bottles, which was a really good step that Glastonbury took.
Yeah.
But I think that's because there's so many people in such a concentrated area. I think it's really good to make it a far bigger subject.
For sure, yeah. I'm sure actually that many people watching the images that we've seen at home will feel the need to do something about it. What was it that made you realise that you needed to do something to change?
So I think it was a mixture of everything. It was things in the news, it was things David Attenborough said, it was also my course. I do product design, which means I look at materials and how things are processed and made, as well as how they're then thrown away, cradle to grave and everything like that. And just sort of seeing how actually products you don't need them to be plastic, of course, so why should they? Because it's making such a horrible thing, and I think also the CO2 being used to make the plastic as well. So everything. So I just kind of like gradually started researching what I could use and what I could do to make my day-to-day life better for the environment.
So what sort of changes have you made?
Well, really small things at the moment. So I became a vegetarian about 6 months ago, which cutting meat out of your diet, it's one of those things that it sounds really minor, but even 1 day a week cutting out meat is so good for the environment, and it cuts out so much of the production, which is obviously really bad for the environment, every aspect of it. Also, it's really small things like not using so much plastic packaging, plastic products, like my toothbrush is now bamboo, and just small things, but it does make a massive difference. Yeah.
I've heard you speak about the shop in Bournemouth, which you started going to do your weekly shopping. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, so it's all organic produce. It's fruit, veg, there's no meat, but everything is locally produced from Dorset, and everything in there is package free or refillable products. So you get all your dry ingredients you can get in there. So you take your packaging, or if you forget, then you can put it in paper bags.
Oh right, yeah.
So because loads of people go, oh, well, it's such a hassle taking in my own things, but you can. They do make it easy for you.
Do you find it hard doing that, or is it an easier change?
I mean, it obviously is difficult because you straight away think, oh well, I could drive there, but then of course that's CO2 again.
Yeah.
And so that's something that you have to get used to, but you do just the smallest bits, and you walk there and you take like a few containers and things like that,
Yeah.
Small things like that. But they also do like your cleaning products and all like hygiene products and containers there that you can use to refill. But it's all really good stuff, and it's worth a visit for everyone. It's really good. Yeah.
Right, do you think bigger supermarkets should be doing more to sort of make changes like that?
Of course, I think a lot. a lot of supermarkets are like, so Waitrose I think one of their shops in Oxford, they started doing a similar idea to the shop that's in Bournemouth. So they do dispensers of dry foods, etc. But I think there's a lot more that needs to be done about plastic packaging. Yeah. They should be providing paper bags, because obviously that's compostable, so it's not doing anything bad for the environment. And just not using the plastic bags given to you for your loose veg, things like that. Yeah. And just sort of being a bit savvy about it and thinking about it.
Definitely,
is really worth doing. Yeah.
What do you think are the first steps that people can do to make a change?
So the first step I took was keep the plastic bags that I had, but not buy any more, and buy some that are cotton bags or things like that. So you know, or hemp or things like that, so that they're also compostable if you ever lose them. So not buying a plastic bag is a key one, and not throwing any away as well. And just small things around your house, just refilling instead of buying a new whole container. You can get, I think Dettol do refillable things that you can refill your bottle, which is really clever. Just small things, but they all add up and make a difference.
Well, yeah, that sounds good. There's a lot of options that people can do there to just make small changes to progress everyone together.
And just one day not eating meat is a massive change that you can make that's really good.
Well, thanks for that, Flora. Some great ideas there. We're going to go on to a bit of a game now, a true or false quiz actually. So I've got some statements written down here. And what we're going to do is I'd like you to tell me if you think they're true or false. We'll see how you do. So, first one. Climate scientists are not paid for their work.
False.
That's actually true.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
People who are focusing a lot on the which is going on, many of them aren't paid. Most of them.
Okay.
It's something we should be changing, really, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
60 million Americans live in areas where the water they drink is unclean.
I'd say that's false.
Yes, that is false. Plants and animals can adapt to climate change.
That is false.
That is false, yeah. The change is too great.
Yeah.
It happens too quickly.
Exactly, too quickly.
Definitely. Indonesia will move its capital city due to rising sea levels.
Possibly true? I don't know.
It is actually true, yeah. 10 million people living in Jakarta are planning on moving. So they're planning on moving their whole capital city somewhere else. There is no correlation between CO2 and temperature change.
That's absolutely false.
It is false, yes. Definitely a change going on there. Wasting less food is a way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Wasting less food. I'd say that is true.
Yes, that is true. Well done. Yeah, that's good. And less than 25% of food produced globally never makes it to the tables.
Less than false.
Correct. Yeah, it's actually more than a third.
Interesting.
So it's more than you think. And another one here. The overwhelming majority of scientists agree that climate change is real and caused by humans.
True.
Definitely, yeah. There's only, surprisingly, there is a few people that don't seem to agree with that. I mean, I'm not a scientist myself, so I can't just say it's obvious, you know, but there we go. Polar bear numbers have increased in recent years.
That's false.
Yes, there's been a 30% decline in numbers,
Yes.
actually, since the middle of the century. Climate change affects poverty.
True.
Yeah, well done. That's 70% of the world's population depend on natural resources from the earth. So whilst we can sort of be here and make our changes and that, there are a lot of people that don't have much to change with. So, right, well, it's got to the end of the show there. Thanks for joining us, Flora. It's been lovely talking to you today. You at home, we hope you've learned a lot from watching today and have learned ways in which you can help the planet too. Make a change. Have a great day. Thanks very much.